Rights groups say close to 800 Iranian civilians have been killed since Saturday. For the latest on the situation there, let's bring in Reza Sayah, who joins me now from Tehran. Reza, what more can you tell us?
Just after 2:30 p.m. here on this Tuesday, the fourth day of this war that's getting increasingly more frightening, increasingly deadlier and bloodier. At this point, the streets of Tehran, here we're in the heart of the city, relatively quiet. There's not a lot of people in the streets. Obviously, most of the shops, businesses are closed. Many people have left town. Earlier today, we did see a flurry of airstrikes to the south of the city, but without question, some of the most intense airstrikes came during the overnight hour, beginning around midnight, lasting for 2 hours. We heard jet fighters up above, and soon after, we heard massive explosions together, followed by thick smoke, and they were everywhere throughout the city. Israeli officials throughout these 4 days have stressed that they're targeting with these airstrikes military locations, the security apparatus, locations linked to the Revolutionary Guard, the Besiege and police headquarters. But without question, we're seeing more and more evidence that non-military targets, non-security targets are being hit. Residential buildings are being hit, hospitals, and more civilians are being killed. Yesterday, we went to a location of a police headquarters nearby that had been hit. The police headquarters building was destroyed, but surrounding the police headquarters were dozens of residential buildings, multi-floor residential buildings. They were either destroyed or heavily damaged as well. We went to a nearby cafe that had been heavily damaged. We spoke to a patron who'd been there during the airstrikes, and he showed us a gruesome phone video of a fellow patron whose head had been severed. We spoke to him, and he described what sounded like a double tap strike. He said an initial rocket came in, it didn't cause a lot of damage, and a few minutes later, another missile hit, and that's what caused the most significant damage. And if this was an intentional double strike, this is a double tap. This is an intentional strategy that's designed to cause maximum damage. And we're increasingly hearing that from witnesses, again, more and more evidence that the civilians here in Tehran are paying a heavy price.
Indeed, and it doesn't look set to stop anytime soon. Donald Trump, speaking out for the first time on this war, said this is the, quote, last best chance of addressing the threat posed by Iran's ballistic missiles, its nuclear program. Also, Trump adding that another big wave is still to come, with even possibly eventually boots on the ground in Iran if necessary. What kind of reaction has that threat of buildup been in Tehran?
Defiance from Tehran. And that's what's terrifying. You have these two sides with a lot of bluster, chest thumping, claiming that they're not going to back down. And that's what's scary. Tehran's position is that they're not going to talk with Washington, that they started this war, they're going to finish it. There's simply no trust. It's Tehran's position that back in 2015, they had a deal. U.S. President Donald Trump tore up the deal in June. We're in the middle of negotiations, and without warning, Israeli forces struck. And that's what happened again during these negotiations. Tehran's strategy has shifted. They're doing their best to project resiliency and toughness and stability. And they say they're going to hit back. They say they're going to make the U.S. forces, the U.S. bases, pay for their attacks. And that's what we're seeing. Numerous attacks over the past 4 days launched by Iran, targeting U.S. bases, U.S. locations, U.S. assets in the region. So what you have here is seemingly a test of wills and a cycle of violence where at this point there's no end in sight.
Reza, thank you for that. France 24's Reza Sayah reporting from Tehran.